ready. Okay. Hey everybody, and welcome to Real Estate for Introverts. I am your favorite introverted realtor out of Colorado Springs. My name is Marisa Lindsay.
Wow, we're just getting out there with it then.
So humble.
She's your favorite and most humblest, kindest, nicest. Well, I'm Dubs. I'm not a real estate agent, but I am a TC. So I've seen hundreds of deals. I work with tens of agents across the Springs and across the United States, as well as within our group.
Yeah, within Real Estate for Introverts.
So being an introvert, I see how I'd rather stay on the backside of the deal a lot of times. And I see agents get out there, but I meet so many introverted agents.
Isn't it crazy?
Yeah.
We're out there. Like, it's insane. I can't believe how fast. So we have a Real Estate for Introverts group on Facebook that I started last August.
Shout out to the intros.
Shout out to the introverts. And we have like over 5,600 people in that group right now.
It's crazy.
It's growing so fast. But there are so many of us out there.
Yeah, no, it's true. So, if you're an introvert in real estate, you're not alone. So.
And there are people that say that introverts should not be in real estate. I beg to differ. You can absolutely be in real estate and be really, really successful. Actually, I tend to think that introverts do better in real estate.
Oh, interesting.
Yeah, because I think that we're more thoughtful in what we say. And because I can only speak for myself, but because I'm introverted, I have to lead with other things outside of, picking up the conversation at the grocery store checkout line.
Yeah.
And so I have to be really on top of my game with the value that I provide through social media to clients, because I know that that's how they're going to find me in order to use me for real estate.
And so I agree. Most introverts are more thoughtful, but that's a double-edged sword, right? Because we have talked about in the past overthinking and how it can really be a stumbling block when you're trying to reach people to help them.
Absolutely.
Right.
So if you've been following along with these podcasts or within the Real Estate for Introverts group on Facebook, we talk a lot about how to engage with potential clients or expanding your social media footprints and engaging with people who are strangers who we want to get to know us, right? And so within those groups, it's all about posting consistently and providing value, through those posts. But we have a lot of introverts that now we talk to all the time because now we both help agents, introverted agents, and boy, do they overthink things.
Oh my gosh, it is. I'm an overthinker, and I'm like, okay, all right, that's enough. Let's go. Let's take action. But a lot of these people, they are careful, thinkers. They want to provide value. They want to do good. And, I'll speak for myself. It's like one of the things I want to make sure I'm doing is presenting myself well to the world. Like, I don't want to seem salesy. I don't want to seem pushy. Like, I don't like that. I'd rather offer an idea or offer a value and have somebody come and engage with that.
Right.
Rather than make some, faux pas of like being too pushy or in somebody's face.
I hate that stuff.
It's really distasteful to me. But,
me too.
Okay, but you've made a great business off of finding leads on social media as an introvert. So how did you overcome those fears? Or what fears do you still see today?
So personally speaking, my fear was having to cold call and door knock.
I see.
And meet people in person. And so that was my fear. And so that was my driving force behind making sure that I got up early every day and spent time in these groups that I was building, because I knew that the alternative was something that I would never do. If I had to build my business off of interacting with people one-on-one in crowds, or just organically meeting people at an exercise class, or I don't know, anything, I would fall flat on my face. It would not work. Like, you put me
Yeah.
like that, and I just close up and just sit there and smile and probably play with my hair because I don't know what to say. So, I mean, I would, in my mind, the fear was having to do that instead. And so it drove me to being like overly consistent and very, very forthcoming with value and making sure that, you know, what I was presenting was something that would be helpful to people who are new to the Springs.
I see. So it wasn't necessarily, or maybe it was it a lesser of two evils? Or was social media something that attracted you, that felt easy, that it just made sense?
I mean, it didn't necessarily feel easy. I remember thinking a few months into it when I had like nobody in the group, and I was excited. I remember I was so excited over one of my posts having 12 views. So this is no interaction.
Yeah.
None. Because when you're an admin of a group, you can see how many views your posts have. I had no likes, no comments, no nothing. All I had was views.
Yeah.
And I was like, sweet, double digits. And like, but I knew that if I just, in the back of my mind, I was like, if I just stay consistent, like this could really, really pay off. But there were some, you know, there were days where I'd be like, you know, maybe nobody wants me to be their realtor.
Okay. Okay.
And it scared me a little bit. But
Now-
I'd rather do that and suffer through that than have to go meet people.
Okay. So you were afraid of failing and not being liked, but were you afraid to actually post?
No.
Okay. So you weren't afraid to post, you're afraid of like missing the connection, but you know, long story short, she figured that out.
I did.
Today, I would like to really hit my people group here because I'm pretty good in person. Like I was a college coach for many years. I've had to learn how to be, you know, sociable, make those connections in person.
Mm-hmm.
And so great growth, pat myself on the back for the past 10 years. But it's a totally new thing for me to make those posts in a group. Like it's the actual posting itself. It's like, who cares who cares about this post? Is this post going to sound dumb? Is it going to convey something? Like, and I'm sure there are other people out there like me who just think, is my post good enough? Like, is what I'm putting out there good enough? Mm-hmm. Or am I ruining my business? Am I making a fool of myself? You know, so I know we see these people. Tell us a story about when we've encountered them within the last week or so.
Last week? Oh my gosh. Yeah. So, like, we had a mastermind on Monday. Mm-hmm. Remember? Somebody that was was his name Matt? It feels like his name was Matt, but it could be something else. We'll just call him
Sorry,
Matt.
Matt or not Matt.
Matt. We'll just say Matt. So Matt said he had a group and he was posting in there. I guess he built it a couple of weeks ago. And he was like, nobody's commenting. No one's joining the group. What should I do? So there was him. And then one of the Real Estate for Introverts group members, Molly, actually put me in her group to see her post because she said she had a lot of people in her group, but nobody was commenting or liking on any of her posts. And so she was nervous that her posts weren't connecting with people, and that's why she was not getting the engagement. So those are like two examples. But like after doing this for so long and having grown so many groups at this point and watching my agents do their thing on social media, what I've learned and what I'm also continuing to learn, but what I see is that there's no wrong post because you're going to connect with your people. Not everybody is going to like it. That's just a matter of fact. Not everybody likes my posts. I know that for a fact, and I'm okay with that because my posts will connect with the right people, and those people are my people. So, but I see what they're saying, and I understand that fear.
Yeah. So let's dive into Matt's question, because he had been posting consistently, but no interaction and nobody was joining his group. Do you remember what advice you gave him?
Yes. I said...
This is an exclusive sneak peek into our masterminds.
Yes.
So.
I know. So he asked this question, like we have a little chat on the side, and so he put his little question in there. And I was like, well, definitely keep posting consistently. You have to continue to be consistent there, because once you're not consistent, the algorithm completely goes not in your favor, and then nobody sees your posts. Like even in my most active groups, like I'm very active in my Real Estate for Introverts group. I probably post 5 times a week in there, maybe more than that. And those, I still think that maybe 25% of the people in the groups actually see the post. So have to be consistent. The other thing is he's like, is Facebook going to start organically suggesting my group to people? Like when does that happen? Sometimes you just need to force the hand a bit.
Yeah.
And so what advice I gave him, I'm like, go into other groups that are local or that have to do with whatever subject matter your group is, and suggest your group to people who might have questions. So like, let's say his group was about horses. It's not about horses. I'm just putting that out there. His group is about horses. And if he was a part of another equestrian group, if somebody had a question like, hey, who's the vet that you use for your horses? He could post underneath that, I heard that this other horse group was a great place for that question. Like, don't worry about how many people are in there. Like, make sure you have posts, because they will join and they don't look and see how many people are there. I guarantee that. And if they do, they don't care, because I grow groups from zero all the time. But like, that's how you kind of force Facebook's hand and get people over there. And then it starts to grow organically. If what you're posting is of value to those people, then they'll start telling their friends.
Right.
For example, I had like 58 people or something like that waiting to join the Real Estate for Introverts group a couple days ago. And of that 58, I would say that 20% were people that were invited by group members. So that's the group now really organically growing. People are telling their friends. And I see it sometimes on other real estate groups where if somebody has a question about being an introvert in real estate, they'll be like, oh my gosh, you need to go talk to Marissa Lindsay and join her group, Real Estate for Introverts. So, I mean, that's kind of what happens. And that's what's kind of happened to all of my groups, is that they've all grown in that way.
Sure. And it's like he was really locked in on if his posts were good enough. He had a good career, a previous career in marketing, so he knows what good flashy content is. And that and his insight, which I learned from his mindset, was I wanted to post something to stop somebody from scrolling, versus those people who come to the page and just kind of like look through and see what value it is. Mm-hmm. So if you look through the lens of somebody who is visiting your party, like it's your party that you're hosting in your group, that kind of post is going to look different than trying to stop somebody as they're scrolling through Instagram.
Right.
And so I also like the point that you made with him. It's like, it doesn't really matter right now. Like, you're 2 weeks in. First, most important thing is keep posting consistently, so that 2, when people come, they see posts there and they can see, oh yeah, this is my group. Mm-hmm. And obviously it's like posting good enough to grow. When you say post, sometimes it's a little ambiguous. So what most people think when you say post, it's like, let me generate this post. But you mean sometimes comments as well. So like going in to other groups that are adjacent, mm-hmm. right? And finding posts and posting comments that are relevant value. Like, those are good enough to post, because that's the easiest way to know you're answering somebody's question.
Right.
Directly related. And then if you drop that link to your group, your posts are good enough to grow. Mm-hmm. Your answer is good enough to grow, because they saw enough value in your answer to come join your group, to come join your party.
Right.
And so as long as you're providing good stuff on that wall, you should be good to go.
I think so.
Yeah. So don't be afraid to make mistakes early in your group, it's not going to show up on anybody's feed. Like, you're not going to, your great Aunt Susie isn't going to be like, oh, look at this schmuck over here, making this post. What do they know about the communities in Colorado Springs? Like, they are going to see that. It's going to be the people you invite in, especially early. So when you're in those first 2 weeks, 2 months, right? It doesn't necessarily need high engagement as long as you're out there providing value.
I think so. And I mean, you're really just trying to find your voice in the first couple weeks. Actually, I'm going to say it probably takes 4 months or so to really dial in your voice. Like, I've been posting enough now in Real Estate for Introverts group that, like, I understand exactly how to talk to them, what posts work, what posts do not work with this group. And I really try hard to build trust through shaping and forming my posts in the same exact way all the time. So they always have an intro. Good morning, introverts. Good afternoon, introverts. Always. Same thing. And then at the end, it's, as always, make today great, everyone. LFG, hashtag introvert revolution, because I'm crazy and everything is a revolution. So anyway, that's how I shape every single one. And so as people get used to seeing the way that I form my posts within this specific group, it creates like a passive trust within the group.
Right.
And people like that. People like consistency.
Sure.
So they like to see that.
So like a pop song has a formula, right?
Yep.
It has a formula that people follow, and people like pop songs, popular songs, because there's enough familiarity with the formula, but enough variety within the content of the song that they have that connection, that trust. It feels like something that's just new enough.
Right.
So
the advice that I was going to give Molly, so Molly let me in her group, and this group is for moms. It's a very, it's not dedicated to one specific area in the United States. It's a very broad group for moms. But what I noticed that she's doing in there is she's talking about things of value for moms, but not how it relates to her.
okay.
So
Yep.
it's hard to trust or to build trust when people don't know who you are, right? And so that's why within all of my posts, and I was telling this on the mastermind too, I'm like, you guys are watching, like, I'm teaching you how to post in your groups through my posts in this group, in the Real Estate for Introverts group.
Mm-hmm.
I am like talking about myself, but not overly so. I am talking about specifics that work for me, and then I want to know how it works for them. Has anybody tried it? I try and create dialogue that way. And so that combination is really what builds that relationship connection. And I think that if you're missing that piece where you're talking about yourself a little bit, you're more talking at people instead of inviting them into your world.
Yep.
And you almost have to do that.
Yeah.
You have to invite them into your world.
For the engagement. That's
Yes.
definitely a key thing I've learned from you. It's not the information you're providing, it's yourself.
Yes.
Like, it's your experience of the information.
Right. So that's what people need to see. And my agents, I help them through this as well all the time. Like, we're going to meet again on Friday and go over this, where I see them talking about something. Like, I have a young mom on our team, and she has a young daughter who's almost 2. She'll be 2 this year. And she'll sometimes talk about fun things to do with kids, but there's no personalization.
Yeah.
She's not like, hey, we went here, tried it, this is our experience. It's talking at, like, here's this place to go if you have young kids. And I'm like, Corey, like, people want to get to know you, and they don't get to know you if that's what you're posting. You have to say, I took Evelyn here, and they have a great place for a snack area.
Yeah.
Like, you can buy snacks, or they don't have snacks. You have to bring your own snacks. It's clean or it's not clean. Bring or what are they called? Those
sanitary wipes.
Sanitary wipes. So, I mean, they want to hear that personal experience. And so I think that that's probably part of finding your voice, though, because it's very easy to talk about other things that have nothing to do with you or that you've experienced without talking about yourself. But as you continue to post, you start to feel where it feels right to incorporate your experience.
Okay. So I'm going to rephrase it and you tell me if this makes sense.
Okay.
So it's like when you make a post, the lens you want to look through is your experience. And then that experience has certain content within it, right? So the lens you're lending to the group is what you see the world to be. And then I found 3 things that you kind of generally give people advice or guidance to talk about. So I think we might have time for 1. So looking through the lens of your experience to answer your people's questions before they're asked, specifics that have worked for you in the area of the group, and then help the you were 2 to 4 years ago. So is that correct? Would that be a good framework to kind of think about all the posts?
Absolutely.
Okay.
Yeah. Thanks
Okay.
for
Cool.
making that
Cool.
make sense.
Great. So yeah, no, that's helpful for me. And maybe next week, I think you have a lot of talents, but I think really how you formulate the post and creating that connection and that bridge should be maybe a real deep dive we could do any day, because we could talk about this and how you post
Oh my
and what you
gosh,
post
we should
for
do
hours.
that. So, okay, next one, let's figure out, I'm sure that there's a way to do it, where we can like post up a few of the posts.
Sure, yeah.
And like deep dive.
Okay.
Dissect them.
We'll do some dissection, some analysts.
Oh, that'll be
analysis.
fun. Analysis.
An analysis.
Analysis. Okay.
Great.
All right, we're so fun. So that is what we have for you today. Take that information, run with it, find a way to really make it your own. I know you can do it. Yeah. Absolutely. That's the great thing about these methodologies is they really are for everyone. You do not even need to be an introvert. Extroverts, there's some space for you here too if you want in. So yeah, come along, find ways to provide value to your community, to your future prospective clients.
Yeah.
And I promise you'll not only grow your social media footprint, but you'll also grow as a real estate agent.
Yeah. Yep, good stuff.
See you next week. Bye.